Why living in Tahlequah is better than living in Tulsa. Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode. I'm going to get some hate on this one, Jill. I think she's thrown me under the bus. But seriously, we do have people ask this question all the time. Obviously, I live here. I've raised my children here. Now my grandchildren are being raised here. But keep in mind that we actually came from Tulsa. My husband and I did a ton of investigations about the area before choosing Tahlequah. We could really live within a 90-mile radius and specifically targeted Tahlequah over 25 years ago. Then it took us a few years to actually get here. We went to Muskogee first, then we ended up in Tahlequah. We were only in Muskogee a hot minute. That's a whole nother episode. But having lived in the Tulsa market and then obviously being here in Tahlequah for such a long period of time, I do have a fair amount of people who either work locally and live in Tulsa, or they work in Tulsa and live here. It really is not that bad of a commute when you think about the actual drive time, because larger areas such as Tulsa, sometimes their commute can literally be an hour, depending on at what time. Now, my husband and I lived in numerous places in Tulsa because we did Show Homes of America. So we would move into some of the most amazing homes and we would stage them and we would have to live there and keep it perfect and looking wonderful. It was quite exhausting, but it was a really cool experience. But at one point, we actually lived in Broken Arrow. And my drive time from Broken Arrow to downtown Tulsa, my husband could leave the house and drive the children all the way to Vian and arrive at about the same time that I was arriving at downtown. So yes, Tahlequah, we do have traffic. And those of you who have only lived in a small town, I hear a lot of times, a lot of complaints about the Tahlequah traffic. But I would say the number one reason of living in Tahlequah is if we don't have that kind of commute or traffic issue. Yes, our traffic is more growth and infrastructure that's being redone, not actual waiting in traffic long lines. Okay. Number two, yes, Tulsa has so many entertainment options, but guys, at the end of the day, those are not things that you do daily, weekly, or even monthly. For the most part, those are things for special occasions. So that's an easy drive over to do that. At the end of the day, Tahlequah has what you need. And as far as entertainment purposes, between the lakes and the rivers, it is kind of comical to see how many people come from Tulsa to our market every single weekend for the lake or for the river. So I think we win that one also. Jill, are you keeping score? Mm-hmm. Okay, Jill says we're definitely winning. Okay, now as far as actual services and needs, guys, we've got everything you really kind of need here in Tahlequah. We have Tahlequah Lumber, we have Atwoods, we have the Tractor Supply, we have several co-ops, feed co-ops, and then of course Lowe's. So those things that you think that you can only go to Tulsa, for the most part, they can be picked up here, or they can be delivered to one of those individuals. As far as services, same thing. We have some amazing massage therapists. We have tons of hair salons. And honestly, we were kind of throwing this around a little bit before we started the episode on what do you truly have to drive to Tulsa for. And it's a very specialized small list. And again, I would go back to saying that those are things that you still don't need on a day-to-day basis. So it's not like you'd have to drive every day. Probably not even a week-to-week basis, more of like once a month or a special occasion. So as far as services, what's available, and let me share one of my favorite things. Our grocery store, Reese's, I don't know if you're aware of this, but they can do special orders. So there is a burrata cheese that my husband is crazy for, and you can actually go to the deli department and they'll do a special order for that. But there's also, I've had clients move in from outside of the U.S. and there were special spices or herbs that they wanted. And guess what? Reese's was able to take care of them. And so I thought that was really, really cool. So I think we win that one too, Jill. Yes, yes.
Amazon can deliver here.
And Jill says Amazon can deliver here if it's not something you can get local, because we do prefer to shop local. So also, a lot of times people say, well, you know, I would love the idea of retiring near the lake or the river, but I'm worried about like health care. Listen. Tahlequah is kind of a medical mecca when it comes to healthcare. We have 2 hospitals and numerous clinics with additional clinics being built. So I would venture to say that between all of the dentists and the clinics and what other all the healthcare providers that we have here, I think that we are neck and neck. Again, there's probably a few specialists that you may not find here. And again, I would say that's probably not something that you do every single day. So again, that's maybe once a month that you would have to drive to Tulsa and deal with all that traffic. So otherwise you get to live here and enjoy it. And I do want to do a shout out to the physical therapist in our area. I think they are just top notch. We have so many to choose from, so that's amazing. Next, so let's see, what was next? Next, in the same vein, but flipping the coin, physical fitness and just overall health and well-being. I think we have so many yoga studios that it is amazing, and I am not complaining because I love going to all of them, and I can almost find a yoga class at any point or any time of the day, any day of the week. So I love that. As far as fitness instructors, same thing. Gyms, we have so many. I don't think that's what they call them now. They don't say a gym. What is the correct term? I don't think it's a gym, a workout facility maybe. Okay. Workout facility. So there's Mark Homa, which is building a brand new fabulous state-of-the-art. I got to give a shout out to our guy, John Bloodworth. That could be a drinking game. Every time I say John Bloodworth, I bring him up a lot because he's phenomenal. Check him out, NSU Fit. They have an indoor pool that is an Olympic-sized swimming pool. So many classes, everything from water aerobics to an indoor walking track, yoga. I mean, they just have everything going on there, and it's super inexpensive. Family friendly. Thank you, Jill. That I was thinking we're probably going to be taking the baby, the littlest one there in the winter to run that track because she's a runner for sure. Mark Homa is Cherokee Nations, but anyone can go. You just would have to have a membership if you're not a tribal member. And again, both of those, I'm going to go out on a limb. They're easily under $50 a month, but I really think they're like $35 a month. Super, super reasonable for all of the options that you get at both of those. Then we have so many private fitness centers. Shout out to Elisha over at Elevated Aesthetics. Now his is uber private. You do have to train with him privately, but he is so knowledgeable and just so amazing. I've lost over 90 pounds, kept it off for over 3 years. He's great. Barry Dotson. I mean, I could just go on and on. So I think that is something that people don't necessarily realize how many wonderful and amazing options. Kyler, we've got Kyler over at his gym facility, workout facility, just so many amazing people. So I think that one we've won also. What do you think, Jill? Okay. And then shopping. I know that people, who want like a large mall or something. Okay. Obviously we do not compete with that, but here's my thought process on that. I'm not a big shopper, so I think that's not something you should be doing every day. So I'm going to say, and that's part of the problem with the traffic. Have you ever been on 71st at Christmas? You're not really on 71st. You're on 169 waiting to get off on 71st. Tulsa's going to hate me after this. So now here's the thing. So Costco, the mall, all of those places, but those are like once a month or twice a month. There's no need to have those in Tahlequah when we can do a short little drive and take care of it. So those are my top reasons why I personally believe that Tahlequah is a better fit for moi and my family for living in Tahlequah instead of Tulsa. Okay, guys, you asked for it. That was the list. If there's any other topics that you have questions about, please reach out. We will consider the topic. Can't promise. We've had a few requests that we were like, not going there. But as always, please like, follow, and share. And we would love to see what your comments are on Tulsa versus Tahlequah.